This is Peter Ripley of the Ripley Report, and today, once again, I am here chatting with County Commissioner Bill Peach. And today, Bill, a couple items that brought my attention was regarding a few items. One, the major one, was regarding Papa's funding. I feel it's like well, let you have your say first, and then I can question it a little bit.
Well, you see the opportunity for us to get certain kinds of messages out, like information about the preparation for earthquakes, or information about, what are we doing for different kinds of diseases. And that doesn't sell papers. I'm sorry, there's just not a lot of commercial application for it. But seriously, I was at a public meeting dealing with a group of people that, it was a water district, and an individual asked the question after the earthquake, will I have my water ready the next day? And that just convinces me that there's a need for more information, because the answer to that question is not likely at all. And the fact that the question was asked tells me that we're not getting good information out there. So to the end that they're able to do that, I think it's a good thing. The question is going to be, how do they get by on basically a small amount of money? And I think that they've accepted that fact, that they don't have a lot of money to work with. So we'll see.
Well, to me, whenever the government gets into any kind of media type of affair, but they tend to want to make sure that content slides in favor towards them, or content is all about content. And I notice the person that spoke about it, the commissioner spoke about the content situation, but I do have some concerns about it turning into a government-run agency, and that's what I'm concerned. Are you concerned about that?
Yeah, and I'm also concerned about that as a vehicle for a political message, whether the message is coming from government or it's coming from the business. The fact is that our tax dollars should not be used that way. To me, it's okay for our tax dollars to be used to share information, but no political spin. You come to your own conclusion. Read the papers, read the blogs, and come to your own conclusion. But the building blocks leading you up to, is this good or bad? That's information everybody should have access to. And if I pick up on this being used as a political tool, one way or the other, either pro-government or anti-government, I'll have some sincere reservations.
Okay, because that's what everyone, I think a few of us who are, like me, who are conservative-minded folks, that they look at this, the TASS news agency.
Yeah. Well, and, I think if you turn the clock back about, they've been brewing on this for half a year to a year. I wouldn't doubt, if you look back a year ago when this conversation occurred with the commissioners, there was concern this was going to become a political tool. And so a tool where information is followed by some manner of narrative, a digesting of the information. And
so you're saying that the government should lay off from any influence on content and political speech of any kind? Is that
correct? Yeah, I think the government should be able to share with people, guess what, when the earthquake occurs, there's more elderly people in Seattle, right around Puget Sound, and guess where the help is going to go first? And out here in Clallam County, we're just going to have to face up to the fact that we'll be on our own for 4 or 5 days, literally on our own.
Second thing is about the second issue is about the Navy letter for the Pier 1 down there on Ennishook. How do you feel about that project in general?
Well,
and the letter that's being sent?
Yeah. So first off, I supported the letter. It was originally organized as a statement by all 3 county commissioners that was fundamentally opposing the project for the following reasons. And I'm really glad Mark Zayas looked at it the way I did and said, let's get information. Let's ask these people the same questions that you have here that you say are the reasons to oppose it. Let's bring them in. Let's ask them. So anytime there's an opportunity for information to be exchanged, I'm for it. Now, this one is a little different because what we have going is it's a project that doesn't involve the county. Quite honestly, this is a city project. And to the end that we have people asking the question and we can get answers to the question by simply bringing the person in, to me that's a lot more cost effective than some 500-page document. But I do believe what will occur after they come in and answer our questions is the people that still have a question, that still want to pursue one of the reasons that they don't like the project, they will need to work directly with the Navy or directly with the City of Port Angeles, because the county doesn't have any jurisdiction.
The last question on the docket is regarding the hearings examiner decision. Are you satisfied with that decision?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the individual that we selected, and had originally thought it was going to be a contest between 2 local lawyers that we've worked with. And that was the good news. We had worked with both of them. We knew either one of them were qualified and capable. So I really did think it was going to come down to which one of the locals. But as I listened carefully to the individual that we ended up selecting, that person's a specialist. That person doesn't practice a general law or a family law or a criminal law. They specialize in land use only, and because of it, I see a lot of opportunity for community development to be able to turn to this fellow and say, you know what, you've handled these kinds of things. We have critical area ordinance coming up. I was just at a public hearing on that last week. We have the Shoreline Management Act. We've got stormwater. We've got lots of things coming. Why don't we talk? Why don't you rough out in some of the other documents you've looked at in other jurisdictions some things we can discuss, but I want to discuss both sides. Which ones worked? Which ones failed?
Well, okay, I'm going to throw you one more question.
Please.
Is regarding the so far the speeches between the 2 candidates for county commission when they were coming in and talking about things that Commissioner Chapman mentioned that it should be talked about during a debate, a campaign situation, not any public, not during a regular session of the county commission. And you were there. You weren't there when one of the candidates came and spoke about the electronic warfare situation. You weren't there, so maybe you couldn't really answer that. But you were. I think you were there when another candidate was there, talking about the letter.
Right.
How do you feel about? I don't understand. I guess number one, what is the rules governing? What is the rules governing the campaign speeches and such or campaigning in general around the county courthouse?
Yeah, well, first off, there's no soliciting, period. No exceptions to that. And you can't use your county supplied resources to conduct a campaign. So if I was running this year, I would not be using that telephone. That's a county telephone. And I would not have people coming in and out of my office to talk about campaign. That's something you do after hours. As far as the commissioners' meetings go, the way we break up the comment from public is in two parts. One, just dealing with what's on the agenda. And so if anybody had said, gosh, I don't like this letter to the Navy, that's the reason that is organized at the very front end. They can make the point they want to make, whether they're campaigning or not, and then at the very end of the meeting, it's you can talk about anything. So because of that format, I think there's a lot of latitude for candidates to take an opportunity to share their views, and we see it happening. Not an awful lot, but we see it.
How do you feel about wearing campaign pins? Wouldn't that be just as much as walking around with a sign and then wearing campaign pins on their shirts and such?
It doesn't offend me.
Well, I'm just
Yeah. So
wouldn't that be just as much as campaigning?
Yeah, well, I think that's what's, personally, Peter, I think that's what's going on, is that we've got people that come to those meetings. Maybe they know there's something on the agenda that they want to say, I believe, so that the voters know. And maybe they're doing it because that's a whole lot cheaper than taking out an ad and putting it in the paper. And that's fine to me, as long as no one interferes with the next person's opportunity to speak. You know, if you happen to take 3.5 minutes, we don't really restrict anybody to the 3 minutes.
Well, I wasn't really offended by the two candidates coming in. But I did question, well, isn't that kind of riding the rail of campaigning on county grounds in the county courthouse? Isn't that kind of like treading a fine line?
I think it is. Yeah, and the chair did a good job offering politely a reminder. But freedom of speech means the individual can say, you know what, you got this item on the agenda, here's what I think about it. Now, you and I both know that person just happens to be running for office and is doing that for a reason. But there's no way in the world I'd ever consider denying that person the right.
Yep.
No way.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Bill, for your time and agreeing to sit down and chit-chat with me.
Peter,
any final comments you want to make regarding anything?
I'm back to work. I took a couple of weeks off, actually, to have a knee replacement, so I'm looking forward to being a bionic county commissioner. Thank you, Peter.
All right.